In today's video, we're going to go over the tropics. In today's video, Major Hurricane Fiona, Tropical Storm Gaston, and the other three disturbances in the Atlantic in today's video. So let's get right into things. Okay, here we are looking at Hurricane Fiona here, Major Hurricane Fiona, that continues here with 130 mile per hour winds, which is a Category 4 hurricane here. This is expected to go north of Bermuda, but we probably will still see some impacts for Bermuda, tropical storm, and potentially some hurricane conditions for Bermuda. So they did issue a hurricane warning for Bermuda. And then you can see the storm is going to be heading toward Canada potentially here in the long range as a hurricane, even some tropical storm and hurricane watches. Whereas in Canada, so not usual we see hurricane watches for Canada. This is the first time I've seen that here up in Canada, so you're going to have to watch this up in Canada here for sure for around 2 a.m. Saturday all the way to potentially 2 p.m. Sunday here. We'll have to watch for potentially maybe a hurricane then turning into a tropical storm as it weakens on land. It won't be a major hurricane according to the National Hurricane Center by the time it gets to Canada, because it's going to probably head into a little cooler waters here, but still a hurricane hitting Canada, not something you see every day. Okay, here's our probabilities of tropical storm force winds here. Looks like Bermuda has about close to a 80 to 90 or 90 plus mile or chance of seeing potentially tropical storm force winds. This goes all the way up to Canada also, where Canada could see up to maybe 90% chance of seeing tropical storm force winds. So pretty decent chance of seeing at least tropical storm force winds for Canada here and Bermuda. So you will probably see some tropical storm force winds with this storm. 50 knots winds here we see about here in that purple area, 90+% chance of seeing 50 knots winds, which is 58 mile per hour winds. Bermuda is close to probably about the 40 to 50% chance, maybe a little lower there, but still a chance of seeing potentially up to 58 mile per hour winds being possible. Then here in Canada, we see a pretty decent chance of potentially seeing 58 mile per hour winds, about a 70 to 80% chance potentially here as it gets close to Canada. So something you'll have to watch up there in Canada. And of course, the more it goes into Canada, the less probabilities there is. Here's our hurricane force winds here. See, actually Bermuda is not in actually the probability there. And if they are, it's a very low chance of a 5 to 10% chance of hurricane force winds there. But as it heads toward Canada here, we see potentially up to maybe close to 40 to 50% chance of seeing hurricane force winds here. So definitely something we're going to have to watch closely here as it continues to move northeast here. Potentially 90+% chance of seeing hurricane force winds. As it's a major hurricane, it looks like though it starts going down as it heads into maybe a little more cooler waters and then hits Canada. Then it will weaken as it's hitting Canada. So we're going to have to watch this very, very closely here. Here is our earliest reasonable time for tropical storm force winds to arrive here. So Bermuda pretty much close to probably now, you probably are seeing tropical storm force winds, or at least in a few hours you will be seeing some tropical storm force winds. And this is going to continue to move here northeast, then eventually move north into Canada here around Friday at 8 p.m. to potentially Saturday 8 p.m. Canada could see potentially tropical storm force winds. So you will have to watch that very closely here in Canada, and maybe even a little bit of Maine, maybe according to what this shows here on the track. There may be a little bit of Maine that may see a little bit of tropical storm force winds, but most of the tropical storm force winds will be up here in Canada here. Lastly, let's look at our history of the storm here. We see this was a tropical storm here with tropical storm force winds in the main development region, and then it got stronger as it headed toward Puerto Rico, and then it became a hurricane as it was hitting Puerto Rico, hitting some areas of the Dominican Republic. Then it hit some of the islands here near the Bahamas here with hurricane force winds, and then we see over the last little bit here getting a little bigger with hurricane force winds here. So, and this is probably going to continue as it continues to move northeast, but probably will slowly weaken until it gets into those cooler waters, and it's going to probably weaken even more here. So Bermuda, you're going to have to watch very closely, at least tropical storm force winds, maybe a little bit of hurricane force winds, but mainly tropical storm force winds for your area there in Bermuda. Okay, now we're looking at Tropical Storm Gaston here. We do have some tropical storm warnings here for some of the islands here, so you will have to watch potentially tropical storm conditions being possible. This is a tropical storm. As of now, it's not expected to become a hurricane, but still tropical storm. It's 65 mile per hour winds right now, so it's about 10 away from a hurricane. So, but still tropical storm. You will have to watch for the islands here, so definitely watch this. Okay, here are our probabilities for tropical storm force winds here. See, there's a pretty decent chance of seeing tropical force winds for the islands here. Probably close to a 40 to 50% chance at least. Even some islands getting close to 60 to 70 to maybe 70 to 80% chance of tropical storm force winds. Looks like the more east you are, though, here into some of the other islands, there's a little less of a chance, around maybe 5 to 10 to 20% chance of tropical storm force winds. It's definitely something to watch here with Gaston. Okay, now we're looking at our Disturbance 1. This is the storm we're going to have to watch very closely because this could have a potentially impact on the United States here. Right now it has a 90% chance of development within the next 5 days and an 80% chance of development within the next 48 hours. So it's definitely something we're going to have to watch. There's a very high chance of development, and this is probably going to be our next storm here, probably our next tropical storm here, and we're going to have to watch this as this could head toward the United States. Most of the models are agreeing this is potentially going to head toward the United States, so definitely something we're going to have to watch very closely here. We're going to look at the models here in a little bit, but we're going to have to watch this very, very closely coming up here in the United States closely. So if you're in the United States, in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, maybe even Georgia there, I would start paying attention to this storm closely, because this storm could be heading towards some of your guys' areas there, and you want to be prepared if a hurricane does happen out of this storm. So definitely something we're going to have to watch very closely with Disturbance 1. Here is Disturbance 2 here. It has a 60% chance of development within the next 48 hours and the next 5 days here, so we'll have to watch for potential development right off of Africa. It's not expected to head at least anywhere near the United States. Maybe a little bit of impacts for Africa from Disturbance 2, but really nothing too big is expected to happen with this disturbance. It's not expected to hit the U.S., not expected to head toward the Gulf of Mexico or anything, not even going to get close to the United States here. It shows it's going to be heading in a weird direction here, potentially impacting some areas of Africa, maybe bringing some rain to Africa there, but it doesn't look like it's going to be impacting the United States, Canada, or any of the islands here with this storm. Finally, we have Disturbance 3, which has a 20% chance of development within the next 48 hours and a 30% chance of development within the next 5 days here. We're going to have to watch closely. It's a very low chance, but still a chance here, because if this continues to move east here, it could move toward the islands here and try to move into the Gulf of Mexico, or it could go up into this region here, maybe head toward the United States, maybe turn. We'll have to watch this closely. As of now, it doesn't look too concerning where it's going right now, but still something to watch here. Definitely something we're going to continue to monitor over the next little bit here for sure. Still pretty low chance of development, but this could still go up in the next few days. But if it does develop right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be heading into any major areas. So that's some good news with this storm here. Okay, now we're looking at the models to see what's going to happen here in long range with Major Hurricane Fiona here. So we see about this time here, we are seeing potential major hurricane still going on here with Fiona near Bermuda here, potentially impacting some areas of Bermuda there. So Bermuda, you probably will see tropical storm conditions here with this storm. This is going to continue to move to the northeast as we continue to head into Friday here. Then as we head into around Friday 1 p.m., we see this hurricane continue to move north toward Canada, and it looks like this storm starts to enter here in Canada close to tomorrow night here, potentially seeing tropical storm force winds here with this storm, and then it continues into Canada, causing rain and thunderstorms going on. So definitely something we're going to have to watch closely here with this storm as it continues to move north. We're also going to have to watch this disturbance here, like we were talking about here near just south of Cuba here. We do see that low pressure system here. And watch what GFS shows is going to happen with this storm as we to get closer here. We see it starts to strengthen as it heads toward the Gulf here. And it shows here, as of now, it starts to move it toward the United States here and gets stronger in the Gulf. And we have those warm waters in the Gulf. If we don't have any wind shear, and if it still stays pretty warm, this storm's going to intensify big and fast if this does happen into areas of Alabama, Louisiana, and Florida. This is just one model. This will likely change. It shows this will happen potentially October 1st here this year. But this is quite far out, so this probably won't hit the exact areas it's showing right now because the GFS changes so much here. But it does show potentially here potential hurricane impacting the U.S. here, then moving off here into close to Canada, probably not being, most likely not a tropical storm or anything by this time, but definitely something we're going to have to watch very closely with this storm. Here we are looking at the CMC model here. I think this is the Canadian model, I believe, here. And it shows here around, let's see, Sunday here, September 25th. It does show a potential tropical storm or hurricane potentially just south of Cuba here. This model shows actually it hitting areas of Cuba here, then moving toward just south of southern Florida. It looks like here is seeing some of that potential tropical storm or hurricane that does occur. Then it looks like it will move east of Florida here and try to head toward the Carolinas according to this model. And it looks like it would be pretty slow storm causing heavy rainfall here. Tropical storm, maybe hurricane conditions if this was a hurricane here. It's definitely something we'd have to watch. The CMC is showing a different path than the GFS. This doesn't show it will hit the U.S. Or it does show it will hit the U.S., but it doesn't show it will head in the Gulf of Mexico here. It will get close, but not quite the Gulf of Mexico. But it does show that it will head toward potentially the United States. And this area is pretty warm with ocean waters also. So meaning if a storm heads in this area, it still could become strong in this area also. The thing is, it probably will have less time to strengthen if it does head into this. Still something we're going to watch as, like I said, we get closer here. Because the path of the storm is still unknown because it's quite far out. But we'll see what this shows as we get closer here. Looking at the European model here, see what this shows. This shows the storm being just south of Cuba, kind of like the CMC model or the Canadian model here. It does show a storm just south of Cuba here around Monday, September 26th. So around the same time frame. It does agree with the CMC being just south of Cuba here. Maybe just a little off, but not too much off. It shows around the same area. It looks like it continues and hits Cuba here. It looks like it hits southern Florida potentially here. Then moves east to the United States. Looks like it may miss, according to this model, North and South Carolina here. But it does. It looks like potentially maybe the coast here may see some rain and thunderstorms if this would happen. And rip current. And it shows this is going to hit Canada here, according to this model. So Canada would see a hurricane or maybe tropical storm from Fiona, and then maybe see another hurricane according to the European about a week or so after. So this will be very interesting if this would occur after Fiona here, our major hurricane we have right now. So we'll see if this does happen. We'll see what happens. It will be very interesting if this does happen here. But this is two models that agree that will move east of the Gulf of Mexico. But GFS is showing still the Gulf of Mexico. So GFS has been wrong a lot, but still something to continue to watch and monitor as this stuff will change as we get closer. So I wouldn't get too worried quite yet. Get prepared now if you're in the Gulf states here, because you could see maybe a hurricane coming up, especially southern Florida. I'd watch very closely because all three of the models showed it was going to be close to at least southern Florida. Two of them showed it was hitting southern Florida. The other one was close, but it showed it was heading toward more like Alabama, Mississippi, Florida. But something we're going to have to watch, like I said, as we get closer. Like I said, I'll try to provide updates here on the channel about the tropics here. hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. I know I haven't posted a video in such a long time, so hopefully you guys enjoyed today's tropical update here. Right now we're looking at Major Hurricane Fiona here on the IR satellite. Looks pretty impressive, but definitely something we're going to have to watch closely. The tropics, I'm going to try to provide updates every once in a while here on the channel about the tropics, especially if the storm that will be heading maybe potentially toward the Gulf of Mexico here becomes stronger. I'll probably post more updates on it here on the channel to let you guys know, and maybe even some live streams. I may have to go live and let you guys know information about it instead of doing it all in a video here. So something, we'll see what happens. Please like, subscribe, and share. It all help a lot. I also got a new website. I would go check that out. We have a lot of stuff on there. I have severe weather, tropics stuff on there, so go check that out. Also, the land threat level thing is on there, so go check out my website. I put in so far a lot of hard work into it. I try to update it every few hours here for you guys, so I can give you guys the correct information on the website. So go check it out here. Links in the description if you guys want to go check out my website. Have a good day, everyone, and see you guys in the next video or stream.